In today's video, I'm going to show you how to pivot correctly on your golf swing to improve your quality of contact. Make sure you check out this video. Welcome back to the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me, Jon Watts, today in our indoor golf studio. And today's video, as I mentioned there in the intro, is all going to be about how to pivot correctly in your golf swing and improve your quality of contact. If you're new to my channel and you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. All the info for me just come along the bottom of the screen right now. We're going to jump into this one. So what we're going to be discussing in today's video is really how to pivot better in your backswing, maintain your posture for better contact. And I want to share with you, I guess, a bit of a word of warning, something I've seen from a number of golfers when they are trying to rotate around this tilted axis. So, you know, turn is perhaps the wrong terminology because we can get our shoulders or hips turning too flat. We, of course, are not swinging vertical steep, we're somewhere between the two. And our lead side, so that is my side that is closest to the target, will be going down a little bit in front of me, and my trail side will be going up and behind me. But what I want to make sure that you're not getting is this lead hip moving forwards as it's rotating. So it's the trail hip is moving back rather than the lead hip moving a long way forwards towards the golf ball. When I see this movement, often the pressure is going out towards the toes, and sometimes I see the player's head moving forwards and a little down towards the golf ball. And then they've got to back up trying to maintain balance. We often see this early extension coming out of posture. That is one of the biggest killers for contact point, hitting the ball out the center of the golf club. So I've got for you an amazing drill and exercise to help you pivot correctly and maintain your balance and maintain your posture. What you're going to need is a couple of golf clubs, and you're just going to put them on the floor with the grip ends pointing towards each other, and you're probably going to leave about a foot gap between them because you're going to be standing, but standing actually on the grips, and the grips are going to go through about the center of the shoe. Okay, so we're trying to find that even bite point. I get a much better sensation where my pressure is when I'm standing on these. So I'm getting that even position here, and I'm going to be making, first of all, some golf swings with the club just across my shoulders, trying to really get this big coil in my backswing. My shoulders are turning a good 90. My hips are probably turning around half of that, around 40, 45 degrees. And I'm loading this trail hip, but my pressure is still even through that right foot. If it's going to feel either way, potentially a little bit more into the trail heel. What I often see is this movement. So the player is pivoting, but their pressure is going into that left toe, their lead toe. It might be that it's gone to both toes, but I see their pressure going forwards, the head going forwards towards the golf ball. We feel out of balance unless we stand up and out of posture. So we want to rotate around our spine angle. So we want to try and maintain this spine angle of around 55 degrees if we can, but we've just got to watch out this lead hip doesn't go forwards towards the golf ball, setting the pressure towards the toes. You could always just put something down in front of your hips. Perhaps if you had your golf bag behind you, and you could lay a pool noodle across just by the hips and just trying to get that sensation of turning or rotating without my lead hip going a long way forwards. If it goes forwards, as I said, I start to feel the pressure going more into my toes, and then we'll try and make some compensation in the downswing. So we want to rotate, but we want to be rotating the trail hip. That is for me as a right-handed player, my right hip behind me without my lead side going too close to the golf ball. It is going a little bit down, a little bit in front of me, but not so much that my pressure would go into my toes. So just literally putting a couple of clubs down. You could also get some wobble cushions or even a couple of actual cushions on the floor and do a very similar thing where you're going to lose your balance if you're out at all. The benefit, I guess, of the clubs is we could actually hit some shots like this. Now I'm probably going to move these grips a little bit further away. Not bad, actually, as a complete guess. I think I might get away with that and still get it on my launch monitor. So I'm trying to wind up for the backswing and feel like my trail hip has turned behind me. I've loaded correctly. My pressure still feels quite even. If anything, more into my trail heel. I do not want the pressure going into my toes in the backswing. So let's give that a little whirl. I'm just going to take it nice and smooth. So just took the pace a little bit out of the swing here, so I'm not expecting it to quite go to the green. Didn't lose a lot actually. With a little bit of bounce and run, it's still finished up there at about 180. But I took the pace out of it, just trying to get that sensation of where my pressure was in my feet. So a real simple exercise, just putting a couple of clubs on the floor, standing on the grip ends. It could be something else. You could just use a broomstick, a mop handle, something like that diameter that's going to run through the center of the shoes and just give you the sensation of where your pressure is. We don't want this fault that I've seen quite regularly recently of players making a backswing, but their pressure too much towards their toes, and then they're losing posture on the downswing and compromising strike. So we are rotating or pivoting, but we want to make sure that we're loading this trail hip and the pressure is still relatively even. It hasn't gone, as I said, forwards into the toes, which would be very destructive for the quality of contact. I hope that helps. If you are struggling at all, definitely give it a go on the driving range first of all, or just at home with some airflow balls would do the trick to get that sensation of where your pressure is. Getting that feel for it, that understanding makes a big, big difference. As I said at the start, if you're new to my channel, if you haven't already, I'd love you guys to consider subscribing. If you hit the little bell icon, it just notifies you every time a new video goes live, at least 2 instructional videos a week.